and gentlemen, you're watching Canal Algérie Midnight News, and these are our top stories. A look back at the end of 2025 with a focus on diplomacy, an opportunity to review the momentum generated by the Algerian diplomacy on major strategic fronts. Good news for patients with diabetes. A strategic partnership between Novo Nordisk and Seidel will allow for the local production of the first insulin pens. And in Morocco, the population's discontent is fueled by the stiff air of the Mersin regime and its disregards to the legitimate demands of the people. Welcome back. As 2025 comes to an end, we look back at Algeria's diplomatic journey, highlighting the strong momentum it showed on major strategic fronts throughout the year. With an active diplomatic and solid economic partnership, Algeria has strengthened its position as an influential regional actor on the international stage. Rania Al-Bahri.
In a world full of tension and division, Algeria has chosen a calm and balanced diplomacy under President Abdelmadjid Tebboune. The main goal is to protect national interests while keeping dialogue with all countries without taking sides or interfering in others' affairs. In 2025, Algeria was very active on the diplomatic scene. President Tebboune held many meetings with Arab, African and European leaders to discuss major international issues through dialogue and cooperation. Algeria strengthened relations with several countries. With Slovenia, cooperation expanded in areas like renewable energy, innovation and artificial intelligence. Ties with Belarus also grow stronger, marked by the signing of agreements in energy, investment and technology. Relations with Italy were reinforced, especially in energy, natural gas and maritime cooperation. President Tebboune's visit to the Vatican sent a strong message of peace, respect between religions and dialogue between civilizations. In the Arab world, the visit of Sultan Haytham bin Tariq highlighted the strength of the diplomatic and historical ties between Algeria and the Sultanate of Oman, based on trust and shared positions. On the African continent, Algiers has established itself as a diplomatic hub, hosting the Intra-African Trade Fair, opened new bridges between African leaders and economic actors alike. Relations between Algeria and Somalia, based on solidarity and mutual support, gained new momentum with the Somali president's visit to Algiers, aimed at elevating cooperation to a higher strategic level. Algeria is placing economic diplomacy at the center of its strategy, focusing on attracting investment and building mutually beneficial partnerships. This is reflected in the signing of numerous agreements and memorandums of understanding, as well as hosting African delegations and continental forums in Algiers. At the same time, Algeria addresses historical and moral issues, organizing an international symposium on the criminalization of colonialism, showing a principled stance on past injustices and the rights of peoples. Rejecting the logic of confrontation and alliances, Algeria favors a balanced diplomacy based on dialogue, negotiation and peaceful solutions. This approach allows the country to position itself as a credible international actor, a voice of reason and a reliable partner in promoting peace and stability across the region and beyond.
The Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, participated this Monday in ministerial meeting of the African Union Peace and Security Council, held by video conference. The meeting focused on the grave developments currently unfolding in the eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as on the strengthening of the role and contribution of the AU in achieving a lasting and peaceful solution to the crisis. In his address, Ahmed Attaf emphasized the need to concentrate the African Union's efforts on activating and consolidating the ceasefire, intensifying political and diplomatic engagement between parties to the conflict and addressing its root causes. We listen.
The situation in the eastern part of the DRC has indeed reached critical stage, a stage where the threats of military escalation, humanitarian suffering, and failure to deliver on agreed commitments are all converging in a manner that undermines not only the security of the DRC, but also the stability of the Great Lakes region and that of our continent in its entirety. As we reflect on the major dynamics that are currently at play in this conflict, we are collectively duty-bound to speak with clarity and act with resolve. Firstly, we are witnessing a dangerous military escalation that challenges directly the sovereignty and territorial integrity of one of our member states, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Algeria strongly condemns all violations committed by armed groups, including the recent occupation of the city of Uvira in South Kivu by the AFC M23 coalition. Such developments undermine peace efforts, weaken trust among regional actors, and carry the risk of destabilizing the whole region. Secondly, the humanitarian dimension of this conflict has reached an alarming scale that should no longer be underestimated. Algeria expresses its grave concern over the rapid deterioration of the humanitarian crisis in eastern DRC, crisis that has already caused the displacement of more than 5.7 million people, with nearly 25 million people continuing to face acute food insecurity. Thirdly, and even more troubling, the ever-growing deterioration of the situation on the ground is unfolding against the background of bold commitments made by the parties within the Washington and the Doha agreements. We have all welcomed these two major achievements, with renewed hopes for peace and stability in the region to be restored through diplomatic means. Yet, the huge gap between words on paper and deeds on the ground reminds us, once again, how fragile the peace endeavor remains in this region and how much it requires sustained efforts by all, and most importantly, by the African Union itself. Within such context, Algeria believes that it is high time to make full use of the key mechanisms established by the African Union to address the protracted crisis in Eastern DRC. In particular, we refer here to the Security and Cooperation Framework for the DRC and the region, which in our view can provide the broader umbrella for a renewed momentum of the merged Luanda and Nairobi processes. In so doing, the African Union's renewed collective efforts must be guided by three urgent priorities. First and foremost, there must be an immediate and unconditional cessation of hostilities. All parties must recommit to the ceasefire agreement without delay, while recognizing and upholding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the DRC. Accountability must form the cornerstone of our collective response, ensuring that those who perpetuate violence are held responsible for the consequences of their actions.
The Foreign Affairs Ministry announced this Monday that following the President of the Republic instructions, Algerians living abroad who hold valid foreign passports may continue to enter and leave Algeria without visa until the 31st of December 2026, and this on exceptional basis. They are required to present a valid foreign passport together with Algerian biometric passport or national ID even if expired, provided the same documents are used when entering and living the country. In Algeria's far south, in the province of Engizam, development targets are being met with sustained state support. The Minister of Energy and Renewable Energies, accompanied with the Minister of the Interior, Local Authorities and Transport, visited the area to review progress on several strategic projects. These include the extension of the airport runway and the start of the construction of the LPG refueling station. The projects underline the state commitment to promoting development in the southern part of Algeria, particularly in key sectors such as public works, transport, energy, agriculture and housing. We listen.
This visit is in line with the instructions of the President of the Republic. Today, we lay the foundation stone marking the start of construction on the liquefied propane gas station in Engizam province. This station will benefit more than 3,000 residents of the province by providing them with access to this vital resource. Furthermore, several development programs are planned for this region, particularly in the energy sector, ranging from strengthening existing networks to connecting industrial zones and agricultural operations.
And in other news, in the health sector this time, which concerns a boost of diabetic patients with the launch of a strategic partnership between Novo Nordisk and Saidal. The cooperation will see the start of local production of the country's first insulin pens, a move expected to improve patients' access to advanced treatment made in Algeria. And in Morocco, social crisis remains strong. The population's discontent is fueled by the ineffective policies of the Merzine regime and its disregard for the legitimate demands of the people, which remains without answers. Rania Bahri.
Morocco is going through a difficult time. Economic pressure is rising, civil rights are shrinking, and public services are struggling to meet people's needs. These problems point to deeper issues in how the country is governed. They make no effort for us. They come to our city and take our wealth. They take everything our country has. From one disaster to the next, the same conclusion is inescapable. The population is left to fend for itself, and the Merzine fails to manage any crisis. It remains focused on its own interests. The roof collapsed without warning. My wife panicked and called me. I was outside and I ran back. According to experts, recent events confirm the deep-rooted nature of this dysfunction. Lacking control mechanisms and institutional clarity, responses are limited to superficial adjustments. In this context, any real progress remains compromised.
Well, that was it for tonight news. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching us. Bye.